mean, pay TV's been around for a long time. It's been going like that, around the world in terms of connections, but never, and being replaced in many ways by cord cutting was replaced with cord stacking.
Hi, everybody. For today's episode of Retention Zone, I have with me my old friend and streaming media expert, Ciaran Quinn. Hi, Ciaran.
Hi, Carlo. Great to see you.
So I want to title this episode From a Disgruntled Customer to a Streaming Media Exec, because I remember that your interest in streaming, especially in video, started with the real need as a customer for cycling. I don't remember, for something around the Olympics, correct? Many years ago. Tell me the story.
Yeah. I'd moved to France in the 90s, and I remember 2000 Sydney. I did not like what I was seeing on TV in France. It was appropriate for a French audience, not an international audience, which I fell into. And at the time, I'd been hired to run Europe for what was then called a DRM company, DRM in billing and customer care. And so I, being a disgruntled customer, as you said, I rang up the Olympic Committee and said, cold called them and said, look, can I help you stream this stuff? Long story very short, they gave me names of their major customers, top customers, NBC and the EBU, and said, talk to them. Did, again, long story very short, we ended up streaming content for the Athens Olympic Games. The first time, actually have an Athens torch back there, along with a real torch. Wow. I know you have torches too. And that was done really, so people like me could watch content when and where you wanted to. I was able to see content because it was available Canal Plus VOD which being live when I was on an airplane, for example. And that was a great thing. Opened my eyes to the opportunities. And so, we ended up doing a lot more with, Olympics started with Olympics, FIFA started with the Club World Cup, Champions League. Yep. Another disgruntled customer. If you want disgruntled customer stories.
Yes.
I didn't want to pay 30 euros a month or whatever it was, subscribing to Canal Plus to watch, some of the Champions League games. We have the draw tomorrow. It's going to be a great knockout round, for Champions League. But I didn't want to pay, for a year, whatever it was, 30 euros a month to watch, 5-10 games. And so, we convinced UEFA. Arnie Rees, who I think you know well.
I met him 2 months ago in New York.
Oh, very cool. I think he's in Bundesliga now, after ESPN. Anyway, Arnie convinced Arnie that Arnie Alexandre, the guy who ran digital. Courtois, exactly. That we could go ahead and secure the content properly so they could actually protect their rights and make something better for consumers. And Canal Plus is one of the rights holders. ESPN was a rights holder. But the broadcasters weren't ready back then. I think that's about 2006 or 18, generation ago. Broadcasters weren't ready. And I remember Canal Plus, because I was making it happen with Intrigue, I was able to go ahead and buy, a Real Madrid game in a knockout round. Fantastic, right? Yeah. But then Canal Plus, I think, like many broadcasters, was concerned about cannibalizing themselves. And so they buried the link, and it was really hard to find it. You could find it, but it wasn't exactly promoted. And I think that the old thing is, when it comes to almost any business, if you don't look at cannibalizing yourself, somebody else is going to do it for you. Yeah, whoever said that was a great comment. So, figure out how to replace yourself always in business. And maybe you have the best thing going, but you better be thinking about how to replace yourself. And they weren't. ESPN was charging I thought way too high a price back then. And I remember Arnie moved over to ESPN telling me that the reason was because they didn't want to cannibalize their business there. People are going to get it.
In the end, if you look at that, we're still not like in the perfect world, but there has been so many transformation of this business. So first, from being on a computer and then on a mobile phone, big screen enter big time. So obviously now streaming is everywhere. On the other hand, at some point, obviously in 2008, 2007, 2008, adaptive streaming, so the real streaming of today became a reality.
Yeah.
You could DVR, you could do a lot of things that before it wasn't possible. A lot of broadcasters started to have kind of services like that with what is called MVPD. So they were basically, you had to authenticate your cable to watch also the stream.
Yeah.
But at some point, everything changed with subscriptions, right? So
correct. Yeah.
And now we are in an era when subscription. So we are in the post-subscription era. I don't know. How do you see, subscription, advertisement, both as a streaming media exec, but also as a customer? How do you see this evolving now?
I think generally, people who are going to access media are going to pay one of two ways. They're going to pay with their time, pay with their money. I haven't got a third way. Pay with their time, they're going to watch ads. Pay with the money, they're going to subscribe. In some cases, Amazon, in some cases right now, you're paying with the money and your time by watching.
Exactly, from January. Yes.
I think is not the greatest way to do it. Give me a choice. 1-0. Yes, ads, no money. Yes, money, no ads. That's where I think the opportunity is. So it's a really clear demarcation for consumers. And subscription. Pay TV's been around for a long time. It's been going like that, around the world in terms of connections, but never and being replaced in many ways by cord cutting was replaced with cord stacking, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my question. Also, how many? Okay, again, you may be not a normal customer, but how many subscriptions do you have?
10, maybe.
So you're not subscription fatigue. So you happy with that, or?
I do. I'm sure I should cancel some of them because I just don't. They're all month to month, so you could cancel the ones you don't use. The smart ones give you a choice of having it yearly and month to month. I think Eurosport, if they would make one change right now, because I mentioned on your other show that I used to subscribe to GCN, Global Cycling Network.
Yes.
I could pay yearly, 12 months for the price of 10 kind of thing. You pay yearly.
Yeah.
Eurosport right now, I subscribed on Sunday because they're replacing GCN. They don't have an annual subscription alternative, which means I can cancel.
And will you? Because that's the point.
I almost did. I almost did because on the TV I couldn't access multilingual commentary, which I like. But I found out yesterday I can actually access that on my computer. I'd rather watch it on the big screen. Most consumers rather watch things on a big screen if they're at home. But I will keep it because I can get the great English language commentary. Really good.
So let me use you as a guinea pig here, as an informed customer. Because clearly, churn is one of I call it the scary monster of this time. So retaining customers become the game where you win or lose. You stay sustainable, not only, but substantial. It's okay to acquire a new customer. It's very expensive. But if you don't retain the current customer, it's a problem. And a combination of, I think, subscriber fatigue, maybe the economic downturn, and the models are bringing people to churn. What do you think are the levers so if you have an OTT platform, what are the levers that you use to retain customer in your view?
Well, let's look at media subscription. Let's use Spotify as an example. I know it's not sports, but Spotify were retaining customers. They added in audiobooks. And, I'd never listened to audiobooks until a friend sent me a link saying, try this. And wow. By the way, audiobooks, if you're in a dentist for 9 hours, it's a good thing, right? But audiobooks. So I'm now, what Spotify has done, yes, they've increased the price, but they've given me more service. And that's a good way, of retaining your customers. Make sure. I remember my old boss at Open TV once said, the big pay TV organization, NASPERS Group. He said, our objective when it comes to pay TV is that a consumer gets the value in the first few days of what they pay for the entire month. And if you can do that. That mentality is a really good mentality. That is, give them within the first few days enough value that they're going to stay for a month, right? So I think as a general guideline, that's a really good thing to retain the customers. Then let them know about it. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what content is out there. There's some very basic things, interactivity. You and I worked on Diva heavily, 10, 12, 13 years ago, which data integrated video application, co-named by me and Bastian at the NBA now, is a great thing by giving consumers more opportunity to see the goals they want, the angles they want. And, right now, let's say, what I'm hearing is that half of consumers are using those interactive services. Half are not. Fine. Half just want to watch the game. That's fine. But if half are using, I think if anything more than 20% are using something, that's a big number. If you got 2%, big deal.
Ben, so if you go on the other side, if you're inside the OTT platform, etc., clearly you need to have a lot of data and insights to be able to use this lever, because maybe you want to change the prices. So I think it's becoming more and more crucial to have systems that are built for retention. And you have also teams of people that are not only marketer to acquire customer, but specialize on understanding, okay, look, maybe this customer are watching less. Oh, it's okay, because they're following whatever. The NFL, there are less games. So there's a lot of sophistication in understanding what is really going on to then be able to offer something, to push some other content. I think it's becoming a super sophisticated area. I don't know if you have any passion for that.
I'm sure you're right. I mean, I was a board member of a company involved in that, NPP Global, which got absorbed into a UK PLC 3 years ago. Clean does that. They figure out how to minimize churn. I think that the huge advantage of IP, of digital media, is that there is so much data out there. You can, if you have the right data analysts to figure out how to use it, you can improve your business. In some cases, minimize churn. And that is, I know that Clean does something like that, like MPP did. That's a really good thing. Not, some people say, well, there's the content. They watch it. They don't watch it. I don't think that's the right way of doing it. I think it's better to figure out how to add value for your consumers so that they're happily sticking around and paying the subscription fee. One of the nice things about interactivity is you've got something which is not easily available, not easily stolen, right? You can stream.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't steal an interactive service.
No.
And that's really, really good. So if people are able to, rights holders, broadcasters are able to figure out how, and they are, there are some examples right there, how to give consumers something which is unique to them. BN Sports has done that with Diva, right? Bhavesh over there. He's done some great stuff there. If you can give consumers that interactivity, they're going to stick around more than they might otherwise. Yes, consumers are always going to churn. They are. But give them something which helps them appreciate more your value, which they enjoy. Sorry.
And you think that the seasonality of sport, especially when it's like the vertical sport, is like a kind of an issue that you have to absorb in your business model, or there's something to do? You remember Imagine for Olympics, no? The Valley. You remember?
Huge problem. Huge problem. Peacock is fixing that by having other sports. They tried the Olympic Channel in the U.S. It was tough. I mean, the Olympic Channel is now being absorbed back into Olympic.com, I think. It's a huge issue, and that's why they moved towards bundling. So we had pay TV bundled. We had big cord stacking, right? Effectively bundled. We had cord cutting, with people going ahead and buying, subscribing to one cord, one subscription or another, cord stacking. And now we're migrating to those cords being rebundled, ideally for a more efficient cost, so that consumers, instead of like paying for 10 and getting 10, maybe I pay for the equivalent of 7 and I get 10.
So if you could design, what would you pay for happily? I always imagine maybe a bundle and then some vertical. So I don't know, you are a cycling fan, because sometimes you're an avid fan, so you need the vertical service to give you the speed, the super served experience.
Yeah.
And then you need the bundle for everything else. I don't know if you have an ideal packaging for you as a customer.
I mean, it's, this is obviously going to depend on the geography, on the economics of a country, of what that content really is that's available. If I were to have all content available, I still wouldn't go above 100 a month. That's a big number. I would not, even if everything was available. I think all my subscriptions, what am I paying? I'm at 50 to 80, I guess, right now, somewhere in there, euros, dollars, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And that's, if we're to hit above 100, I'd be starting to say, well, yeah, really?
Va bene. So in the end, so we're ending this with you as still, because of the the cycling thing that happened this week, a bit of a disgruntled customer again. You went full circle, maybe.
I mean, look, digital is here to stay. There is we know that, cord cutting is done. Cord stacking is going to happen. Rebundling is going to happen. More efficient pricing packages are going to happen. More interactive content is going to happen for those who choose, for the consumer who chooses to access it, and for those who don't, just want to have a stream game or whatever, that's fine too. So there are, right now there are 6 or 7 or 8 major things that rights owners can be, broadcasters and so forth, can be doing.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is, don't screw it up, right? Don't have outages. And fortunately, I mean, we experienced those. I think they stopped some years ago, but there were some major outages because
still even big tech cannot streamline sport properly at the beginning. Sometimes, so nobody's perfect at the moment. So
hey, I mean, even Amazon, when Amazon did the tennis thing in the UK, I was having problems streaming Amazon Prime here in France. And I think because there was so much, this is 2017, maybe 18, because so much traffic was going there, even Amazon hadn't figured it out. How to properly predict loads and adapt to them.
So so basically, end of the day, streaming media and sport, you never get bored, right?
Yeah. Make sure you get out and participate in sports, and then watch what you participate in, right?
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
Va bene. So thank you, Ciaran. Really appreciate the story and the experience and working with you for so many years. But I still see you have a passion for the best way to bring sport to fans in the end.
Always do. Great to see you, Carlo. Thanks for inviting me on. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.